Hey, honey.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, everybody. I'm Fen, and this is Retro Reviews, a review show where we go through my copious amounts of gaming books, magazines, and other paraphernalia one at a time to review them for you, and to keep me from rambling, we have Laura.
Hey, everybody. So to keep us on track, I'm going to ask a list of questions.
All right, go ahead.
So what is tonight's magazine?
Tonight's magazine is Dragon issue number 154, and this issue has a bunch of articles that tie in to the second edition battle system, which was their way of incorporating miniature warfare into the D&D games. You could either play it as a standalone, or you could use it to actually act out big battles when you got up in high levels and your characters were commanding armies.
Okay. And this is another one from Eagle Hill and Presque Isle.
Yep, some dude was just selling his back issues $5 a piece, so I just picked them up every time I was in.
Okay.
Had an extra $5 to spend.
Do you want to give us a quick synopsis of the articles inside?
Yep. Starting off with the first article with Sage Advice. It's a monthly column answering player questions. Key takeaways: unseen servants can fly. Lightning bolt can be cast in any straight line. Doesn't matter if it's up, down, sideways, or diagonal. And haste doubles all movement rates. So yes, Red Bull will give you wings. If you're drinking it, it will make you fly faster. The next was an editorial. Next article was an editorial called "Bye Bye World War III." When this issue came out in, I need to start writing these down in the corner. This came out in February of 1990. Mr. Gorbachev had pulled down that wall. The Cold War had ended, and the editorial about the end of the Cold War, and if World War III post-apocalyptic games were going to become a thing of the past because nobody's actually thinking about the Cold War and the possibility. We didn't have the threat of lowering Air Force Base from the movie War Games. Real place. She grew up like 10 miles away from it.
Something like that.
I grew up 45 miles away from it. Like, it was one of the places, like, up until 1990, Russia had like a nuke with our names on it. It felt really weird being there one time I went to play Magic. Like, this place, the Russians probably still got this place targeted, and I'm at ground zero. Really weird. But that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Next article is the Game Wizards. How does Angry Mothers from Heck? This is by James M. Ward. And in 1990, TSR, especially with the release of second edition, decided to remove all references of devils and demons from the game because of MAD, Mothers Against Dungeons and Dragons, which was part of the Satanic Panic. One of these days I should do a whole video about the Satanic Panic. Mm-hmm. But it was a whole movement of like them saying, hey, we understand that some of this content might offend some people and you don't want your children exposed to it. We're going to try to limit and not put that material out there. That would be reversed in 2002 with the printing of 3rd edition D&D when Devils and Demons came back into the game. With 3rd edition brought him back, and we had the Book of Vile Darkness in 2005, which also got reviewed on this channel. Go back, check our backlog. But yeah, it was a good read. It's actually when I was studying for my master's thesis, and I had the history of the rivalry between the church and gaming. I should have remembered I had this article to bring to reference in that, but maybe my second edition book I'm working on.
Yeah, definitely.
The next article is Warrior Kings and Empire Builders. It's an article on how to borrow from history to run kingdoms in your campaign, which is actually interesting because George R.R. Martin, Game of Thrones, both the Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon are heavily inspired by medieval European history about the rivalry between like what happened with the king being overthrown and a new king. So you can definitely steal from history to create the background of your world. Good advice on that. The Making of the Paladin is the next article. It's actually the breakdown of the Paladin's life, their training, early years of adventure, and actually like the fact that they don't get to retire. It's a good 1.5-page article. It was actually inspiration for mine and Josh's Paladin Academy on our gaming world.
Why don't they get to retire?
Because you must go out and thwart evil wherever it may be. And paladins, like hunters, like monster hunters, they don't grow old. They just get slow. And then sooner or later, some big bad takes them out.
The monster gets them.
Yeah. Next article is All in the Family. It's an article on making heraldry for noble characters. So this article is actually lacking a lot in the design aspect. It's about how to incorporate heraldry to be able to create a family coat of arms and what happens when two families have rival coat of arms, which actually is funny because that's actually like one of the things about Game of Thrones, about the Lannisters and the, what was the other one? The ones that are the rival lions in Game of Thrones. If you know what that is, leave it in the comment section down below, but keeping off topic. But this one's good for how to role play with heraldry. If you're looking for an actual how to make the heraldry, the coat of arms, the shield of your D&D character, if you're a paladin, there's a future Dragon issue that has a much better article about that. So, hit the subscribe button so you can find out when that one comes out. It's one of the early 3rd edition numbers. I can't remember the number off the top of my head. The next is for King and Country. It's an 8-page mini source book on creating a campaign where the party has been enlisted or conscripted into the army. And I really like the idea that they have in here of it's called Field EXP, Field Experience Points. So if you're on your mission for King and Country, if you're actually on active duty and you gain experience points, that's what decides your rank. Like that's how you level. You keep track of that to figure out what your rank is in the army. It's not your overall character level. So I found that to be like really cool because I've tried to figure out how to do that in role-playing games. The only role-playing game that I really had any like good clear way to do it was D20 Star Wars, where they used the reputation score, and that allowed you to be able to figure out what your rank was in your like military unit. So that's a really nice piece of like creative idea. The next article is How to Win Wars and Influence People. It's 6 pages of how to improve as a wargamer, as a tabletop miniature player. A lot of the information that is in here is focused towards the new battle system for D&D, but it also has a lot of good advice for like Warhammer 40k or back when this was printed, Warhammer Fantasies. There's a lot of these skills if you're good at one miniature game, you can apply those skills on another miniatures game to cross-train.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense.
The next article in the magazine is actually a short story entitled Rassilon and the Knight of Solomina. That's how you do it. Solomna. I've actually read this story before. It was in one of the Dragonlance anthology books. It stars the mage Rassilon, who is one of my favorite Dragonlance characters. He started off as a neutral mage who went evil, not in the whole thing of I want to take over the world. He just wanted to know more and have more knowledge of magic. Like his love of learning turned him to the dark side. And he was like this, not really a villain, not really a hero through the whole thing, but
He will just like drift.
it's that whole thing of like the power of the dark side corrupts once you start down the dark path. You know.
So it wasn't like he drifted like.
It's not like he drifted. He just kind of like went evil and simply to become more powerful and gain more knowledge of magic. The actual adventure is he schools a young paladin about, because the paladin's all like, I must go out and thwart evil wherever it may be. What we used to call lawful stupid alignment. It's like, it's evil, I have to fight it. It's like, no, use your brain. Use your brain. Think this through. Are you strong enough to defeat this monster? No. Is your death going to benefit the greater good? No. Do you know anybody that you can go get that can help you, that can actually help you kill this monster? Yes. Go get them. So he teaches the paladin not to be lawful stupid. Next article, and this is a continuing article series they started. This is part 2. I don't have part 1 because I would have needed to have issue 153 for that. But you're going to like the name of this. The Voyage of the Princess Ark. This is, like I said, part 2.
Is it the princess named Ark?
No, it is a story written as the captain's log of an airship that is exploring the known world, which is Mysteria, which is the campaign setting for classic Dungeons and Dragons used in the Beckney series, the basic, expert, advanced series. The red box that I've got, that campaign setting, which mine and Josh's D&D world is heavily influenced because we played a lot of the Mysteria adventures and had a lot of the Mysteria books.
Yeah.
So this is just basically the captain's log. This date, going through and cataloging the adventures. New 7th level, and they give a little. Everyone they have a new rule or spell or some sort of little game update. This one is the new 7th level spell, Ship Flight, which is basically autopilot for the ship. You just like cast the spell and the ship just goes to that place you want it to go. And next, the Who Was That Masked Android? This is the Marvel superheroes article for the issue called Who Is That Masked Android? It's an article on how to handle secret identities in the Marvel superheroes RPG.
That's fun.
Yep. Yeah, and that's what we got for articles.
Okay, which of these are you planning to keep?
I do want to pull some notes from Angry Mothers from Heck next time I start doing any work on my history of the Satanic Panic.
Yeah.
The making of a paladin. I definitely want to dive more into that when I'm starting to work on the adventure books and rules, the game supplements I want to create for mine and Josh's D&D world. Me and him have been talking about doing those forever. But
Gonna keep the princess one too.
probably the princess one. I think if I can find the other issues of Dragon Magazine, I might let you read them all, keep them all for you. Now we can. Sounds like you'd be interested in that. Also, the For King and Country, I'm definitely going to copy over those tables for the next military adventure I want to run. So
Sounds great. Okay, that's all my questions.
that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in with this. And by the way, I really think the fear of people stop playing the post-apocalyptic games never went away. We still have plenty of post-apocalyptic game worlds now. Instead of it being the Russians dropping the bombs, it's usually the zombie uprising and other stuff. So
Yeah, post-apocalyptic is pretty big right now.
oh yeah, you've been reading a lot of the zombie survival books right now. So anyways, I'm out of here. Peace.
Bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for staying till the end of the episode.
Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.